Hey, John Martinez here with Midwest Revenue Group. I wanted to go through the top 10 reasons why salespeople lose deals. So let's get started. Number one, they believe it's a numbers game. This is false. You know what? If you own an NFL team, do you tell your coach, I'd like you to try to play just more games every year? Or do they tell the coach, I'd like you to win as many of the games you're playing as possible? It's a conversions game. It's not a numbers game, right? You can't go to the NFL and say, hey, try to play 32 games this year. Just play more and more and more, because chances are if you play more, you'll win more. That doesn't matter. What your record is matters. You need a winning record. Next. Salespeople act like prospects aren't people, like they're the enemy. Here's the thing, prospects are people. They have the same feelings, they think the same way, they make decisions the same way as anybody does. If you don't understand something, you can't help it. And if you don't understand your prospect, you can't help them. And if you believe your prospect is just some person who does these weird, wacky things when they mislead or lie or do anything like that, the problem's not with them, the problem's with you. Next, they act like closers. And take special notice of the word act. A lot of salespeople act like what they've seen on TV and in movies as to what they think closers are. But here's the deal. Closing creates pressure. Pressure creates resistance. When people feel resistance, they fight or they flee. Neither of those leads to more sales. It's scientifically proven that the more times a salesperson attempts to close, the less likely they are to actually close a deal. Next, they rely too much on follow-ups. Follow-ups are great. You need to follow up with prospects. But why do something tomorrow when you can today? What I mean by that is many deals could be closed right now, but salespeople are artificially just lengthening the deal. The only reason why you should close during a follow-up is if something with your prospect situation changes and now it makes sense to do business with you. If nothing in their situation changes and you win the deal on follow-up, well, guess what? Nothing changed. You could have won that deal on your very first sales call. It's just artificially just lengthening it, the length of the sales process. No reason to do it whatsoever. Next, they drown their prospects with facts and jargon. Hey, facts are good, jargon's bad. People make decisions emotionally and justify logically. If you're selling on facts, you're not going to sell very much. You have to get an emotional buy-in. People make a decision to do something, to take some type of action, and only after that decision is made are they going to justify the decision that they made. So if you try to sell rationally, you're going to miss the part in the sales process and in the way humans make decisions where they actually commit to making a change or taking some type of action. Next, they prescribe before they diagnose. Would you trust a doctor who did that, right? A lot of salespeople go in and they lead with presentation. They lead with their prescription. They say, hey, here's what I think you should do and why you should do it. Here's what's so great about our company and our products and our services. Would you trust a doctor who you walked in and they go, I'm glad you're here. I've got some drug to show you. It's amazing. You should take it because of this. It's the greatest thing in the world. We've had all these tests. Great, great stuff. And then you'd probably pause and say, Doc, I haven't even told you what I came in here yet. For you're a quack, and you'd leave. Too many salespeople lead with their presentation. They prescribe before they actually diagnose. Next, they don't know how to deal with resistance. Resistance is natural. You have to learn to deal with it. Resistance doesn't mean that you didn't build enough rapport. Resistance doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. Resistance doesn't mean that you've got a bad prospect or an unqualified prospect. It is natural in the sales process. You need to know what's coming and know how to deal with it. Next, they fail to uncover the reasons why someone would not do business with them. So many salespeople are just afraid to ask about objections, to proactively bring them up. But not asking for objections, not asking about objections, not asking about the reasons why someone would not do business with you, it doesn't make them go away. It just puts you in a place where you can't deal with them because you don't know what you need to deal with. Weak salespeople are really just afraid to ask about objections because they don't want to hear them. They just want to act like everything's great. They're doing it more for their ego than anything else. Another reason why they might do it is because they believe, if I get a prospect to say yes, 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 I'm going to pitch them at the end and they're going to say yes because they've said yes so many times, they're just going to say yes again. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Get your prospects' objections out proactively, early, and then deal with them. Next, they fail to truly understand motivation. Someone's motivation to take action is not just a checkbox. Motivation is always personal. Motivation is always emotional. The reason why someone will do business with you is both personal and emotional. And if you don't take the time to truly understand that, you are not going to know how to frame your presentation and really speak to what the prospect wants to uncover. Next, they have no plan. When you have no plan, you plan to fail. Just think about it this way. Is there any professional on this earth who goes into something saying, we're just going to wing it? Bill Belichick, who not a big fan of, but he's probably one of the best head coaches the NFL has ever seen. Or you know what? Let's take the Green Bay Packers. He's on the Lombardi, right? It's a Lombardi Trophy for Pete's sake. So Lombardi. Do you think if you went and you asked Vince Lombardi before every game, hey, do you have a plan? He'd say, you know what? I'm just going to wing this one. Let's see what happens. That's ridiculous. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? No professional, including professional salespeople, wing it. Amateur salespeople wing it, but that's it. That's all I've got for you. If you want more information on how to close more deals, go check out MidwestRev.com. See ya.